It's the morning of September 23rd, 2009 in Stockholm, Sweden. The overnight crew at the G4S Money Depot works at full speed. With just 2 days until payday, the cash depot is nearly bursting at the seams with $150 million. Between the hustle and bustle, a bang rings out. Then another, and another. Then, crash. 3 men armed with guns and explosives suddenly rain down from the ceiling. The beat of a helicopter's blades resonating through a new hole in the glass roof. The depot was being robbed from above.
Welcome to Heist Club, where we've got a new heist story coming at you each week. We're here to uncover the details behind some of the most audacious and ridiculous robberies of all time. How they pulled it off, how they got caught, and the mysteries that remain. Bank heists, art heists, diamond heists, and other capers you won't believe. I'm Jesse.
And I'm Todd.
Welcome to the club.
Hi, Jesse. Welcome back to the clubhouse.
Oh, thank you. Feels good to be back.
Okay, well, let's get into our heist of the week, if you would. And this one, we love our cinematic feeling heist, and this one is, I think, the biggest we've done so far. I would say this is action movie style.
Oh yeah, it's all the check marks are checked. We have AK-47s and helicopters and explosions, and yeah, it is the movie Heat. It is Fast and Furious. It's a whole true life. I just feel like these people are dramatic, but in the best way. Like, yeah, let's actually do a Hollywood heist.
Really interesting backgrounds and presence at that time. Yeah, you got the whole ensemble. You really do here.
Yeah.
Well, like the start of a blockbuster film. Let's introduce our protagonist, though. I say protagonist. Not necessarily a good guy, but you're rooting for him.
I'm rooting for him. Yeah.
Get that money. I can't say we have a lot of deeper motivation here besides I want to get money, but you watch someone go through all this work involved to steal something. It's hard to not root for them at a certain point. So this is Goran Bojovic, and Goran had a dream. Born in Sweden to Montenegrin immigrants, he grew up among violence and poverty in the city of Stockholm. We have a picture of Goran. I assume this is from the time. Goran, he's an intelligent man, clawing his way out of poverty and starting a construction business based in Estonia. Although the organized crime detail of Sweden would like to have a few words about the legitimacy of this business. So he has a construction business, but maybe it's not on the up and up. But back to Goran's dream. His dream is, what if he did one big robbery and never had to worry about money ever again? I think it's many people's dreams. I think I'm not saying we have the history of Goran where maybe we've committed other crimes before, robbed other things, and this is just the big heist to end it all. But who doesn't dream about that? Coming into flush with cash. But Goran, he has this idea, and his childhood buddy, Charbel Charo, seems to like the idea. It's gravitated from just an idea in his head to, kind of telling his friends and getting them involved. Now, Charbel was also a first-generation Swede who had previously served time for theft. And then when he finished his stint in jail, he pivoted to a career as a humble PE teacher. So,
have you ever seen it? Do you remember any PE teachers from a kid? You're like, I bet that guy's done time. I don't know.
That's a good question. I don't think mine did, but they had, they definitely have compelling lives. You definitely don't know what's going on outside of school. That is for all teachers, but especially PE teachers. Right. Yes.
Yeah. Yeah, it is weird to, like, when you're a kid, you realize, like, oh, my teacher has a personality. Yeah. This is weird. They have interests.
Oh, he's secretly robbing bank depots in Sweden? I didn't know that all along. What a shocker.
Man, he's so cool.
So much more than I expected. But so I think we're kind of imagining Goran going to Charbel during dodgeball, and there was Charbel in his dorky gym teacher outfit, and with the whistle around his neck, of course, hanging down. Don't know if any of this is true, but we love the visuals of it. So Goran's target is the G4S cash depot in Vastaberga, an urban district in southern Stockholm. Now, why? Why this place? It has never been hit before. It processes over 100 million Swedish kroner daily, which is $9.1 million US. and it controls the distribution of all Stockholm's cash. So seems like a pretty good target. I mean, a pretty major target. So clearly not just it's on the corner of the street and you knock on the door and you enter with a gun and you take the things away. No. This is a massive facility. And part of Goran's plan is that around Sweden's unofficial payday, which is the 25th of each month, it holds 1 billion Swedish kroner, which is $150 million US. And most importantly, we love this detail. The building's blueprints are actually publicly available in Sweden at the time. This is how Sweden works. And it has a conveniently massive glass pyramid on the roof.
Why?
I don't understand that at all. It's like you're inviting the thieves in. Like,
yeah, I'm looking at a photo of it. I thought it was going to be a way more like, look at us, but it's just like no one's going to really see that from the street. Like, it's just like it's not even a flex. It's
not even necessary. I mean, it's
the reasoning at all.
I think when we've done stories in other cash depots, and in general, I'd say it's not like it just looks like an office building, and then you have this fancy pyramid on the top.
Yeah, I know. They're a fancy depot. They have all of Stockholm's money, so I guess they feel like they deserve a little pizzazz in their warehouse.
They had it, and to their detriment.
Exactly.
But it's like we said, it's too big of a job for just the two of them to complete. So they need to assemble a team and a plan. Jesse, you want to talk about the crew?
Sure. First one up, we got Mikael Sodergran. He's a pyromaniac, which I would love to hear more about, who served jail time for his incendiary proclivities. He'll handle the explosives. I think the idea of an explosive guy is so
I love that it's real. Again, I think always, like, what we love about these stories is, like, you see it in a movie, and it's such a fun character. You show up in his backyard testing something, blowing something up. And you're like, whoa, this guy's good.
I know.
And that is Mikael. Mikael is that guy.
Yeah.
He is the John Malkovich of our crew or something.
Exactly. Yeah. I've even heard, like, I just read something about pyromaniacs recently, and it's really interesting, but I did not hear anything about people that make explosives.
That's like the ultimate of pyromaniacs. It's not just watching things burn. It's like the contraptions that do it. They're really into the nitty gritty. We have a picture of Mikael. We don't have a picture of everyone. The picture of Mikael, he's got like a little, almost like a smirk on his face. It looks like he's actually in the courtroom, not to give anything away. Looks like he's in the courtroom. He's probably, sitting at, the defendant's table. He's looking back. He's got a shaved head. He's got a little mustache. But like a little smile. Like this guy, I don't think he's watching something burn in this picture, but as a pyromaniac, you can see how it'll just like bring him joy. Just real joy.
No, I think I see a little flame in his eye.
That's right. Yes. Memories of the fire. Yes.
We got the explosives guy. Now we got the second person, which is Nemanja Alic. He's a newsstand vendor with a love for American gangster movies. He's very unathletic, not fit for a heist, but perfect for the diversion. It's good to have.
It's quite a character to bring into this. I assume Goran knew him from buying his daily paper or something, but like, again, thinking Ocean's 11, like when Clooney and Pitt are assembling their crew, if all of a sudden they go to the newsstand vendor who's very unathletic and you're like, we have a role for you.
I know. Yeah, I feel like he's the comic relief character.
Yep.
And then they got Safa Kadum, an Iraqi-born Swedish immigrant. He's no novice when it comes to the high-profile heists. Back in 2000, he and his brother stole 2 Renoirs at a Rembrandt from an art museum. Which is no...
Yeah, apparently he only served 2 years for that crime, but maybe that's a prequel episode he will do later.
Yeah. Goran recruited 2 more men to be the Spike guys. We'll reveal what that means in a little bit. It'll make sense later. They will keep the police busy. Their names were never released for reasons we will also reveal later. They also recruit Marcus Axelsson and Tomas Broman to help falsify alibis. Goran recruits an estimated 20 people in total, but we'll find out what happens with them later.
The ones we know about, at least, yeah.
G4S stores the money on the 6th floor. An unfortunate design if you were the head of security, but perfect if you wanted to bust in from the roof. And even better, there's only one door guarding the money. This is going to be a cakewalk for Mikael, the explosives guy.
Although he might be disappointed, right? Because for him, the more explosives he gets to use, the more fire, the happier that man is.
Exactly. Maybe he'll bring some extra.
Yeah, some fireworks to play off when it's all said and done, which also could be very cinematic and fun to look at.
and here's your sparkler, and here's your sparkler. Congratulations. The gang believes they can pull this off in 15 minutes, which I think
That's very fast.
Kind
very
of hilarious
fast, yeah.
that they thought that. They didn't think
Nope,
anything
you gotta
bad was
that,
going to happen.
Plan for the problems.
I know. And then Charbel, the PE teacher, hands everyone disposable cell phones. And then the plot is on.
The plot is on, but we do have a quick problem already, which is that in late August, Serbian authorities warned the Swedish police that Serbian nationals planned to rob one of their cash distribution centers in mid-September. How do they know this? Well, they stumbled upon Goran by accident, actually. They had been monitoring the calls of a former Swedish mafia guy who had recently set up shop in Serbia. His name is Milan Servo. And Milan had some interesting calls with someone who we learned later is Goran, or what they learned later is Goran, I should say. He's asking Milan for some help on the heist that he's planning in Stockholm. So they pivoted their tapping skills to Goran instead, said, okay, enough of Milan, who's this Goran guy? Let's see what he's doing, because we could stop a bank heist here, or a depot heist, I should say. As their conversations continue, Serbian officials manage to piece together a semblance of the plot, which is this is what they think. 3 individuals will carry out the heist. We know it's actually more. They're targeting a cash depot. That is correct. It's going to happen by mid-September. We'll see about that. And the fun part, there's going to be a helicopter. I'm not sure they thought at the time, ooh, this is going to be fun. Maybe they did. I mean, I think we think that's a fun part, which is like, okay. But it's also, if you're going to have 20 people involved, that's a lot of coded language for people to learn. Goran has a lot of skills.
I know.
So Swedish authorities are not shocked by this warning, as apparently they saw 224 assaults on their cash depots since 2000 at this point, which seems like a crazy number. But there's a booming cash-based economy in Sweden versus Finland, for example. Finland only had 4 in that same period of time. So I guess Goran's cash depot heist idea is not that original. It's more about who he's targeting, because they've never been targeted before, because they're a big deal. It's a lot more money, I think, than a lot of the other places. But they also have, a glass pyramid on top. So, it all balances out in the end. But the Swedish police instantly suspect the target will be the Panaxia cash depot, which is stationed in the Stockholm Arlanda airport. So it was robbed apparently of $7 million in 2002. And helicopters and airports just seem to go hand in hand. So they think helicopter, oh, okay, it's going to be the airport one. So they arm Panaxia to the teeth, and all police helicopters move to a new location closer to Stockholm with that in mind. And then they wait for the inevitable strike in mid-September.
Okay, yeah. But before we move on, I think we should discuss the absolute insanity of using a helicopter.
Yes, we should.
I guess it makes sense if someone has access to it and they don't, I don't know how they got to that. Don't they have an explosive guy that can just bust down the door to begin with?
Yeah. I get well, here, I do get it in that, like, we know there's access to the glass pyramid, and we know that the main vault is, I think it's the 6th floor, right? And so that's like the top floor as well, just below the roof. So to get there quicker is helpful. As we will see, it definitely does help with the getaway, But at the same time, it involves a lot of other actions to make it the right getaway, Like, this takes quite the crew to make this work.
Right. Exactly. We also need to hammer in that there's a reason that this case is a first. We know helicopters are one of the Hollywood's favorite props to spice up an action scene, but in real life, a bunch of amateurs can easily turn themselves into chopped liver. That's my helicopter sound. If something as small as the wind changes, so it needs some experience.
Yeah, I also think about, like, obviously there are buildings that are secure enough to have a helicopter land on top. I think of hospitals. So I don't know if those plans also said, like, oh, the load bearing, is that the right term? I don't know. I'm just going to use it. The load bearing weight of this roof is whatever pounds. And that means, yes, we definitely could land a helicopter there versus, yeah, we land on the roof and the helicopter immediately falls in. Right.
Well, they're trying to get in. So that's one way to do it.
Yeah. We'll see what happens.
Yeah. We could just bypass the pyramid and just fall right into the 6th floor.
I did find this interesting. You have to be very conscious of weight with a helicopter, right? Like, how many people can you have on board? How many pounds of loot can you have? That becomes a factor. So the pluses and minuses of using a helicopter. Although if they didn't use the helicopter, would you and I be telling this story today? I don't know. It really grabbed us,
They're going for headlines, I guess, which is funny because they probably wanted to go unnoticed. So basically the margin for error is death if they mess up the helicopter thing. I mean, yeah, seems pretty easy to crash that thing. Either Goran or Charbel are completely nuts or stupid or the most trusting man on the planet. Goran originally scouts a Serbian pilot and entices him with a $20,000 advance for the job. Would you do that for $20,000?
I think I probably would. I mean, in all these cases, it's always like, do people actually know how much money they're going to get in the end? I think we always talk about that. They end up with whatever number million, but like, does everyone involved really know how much? So again, if Goran's point of view is they can't accomplish this without the helicopter, and I'm a helicopter pilot nearby, he's coming to me, I'm probably asking for more money. I'm like, oh, there's millions of dollars in there? Yeah, 20,000 is not enough. I ask him for more. But all depends on your personal financial situation and what you might need in that moment.
Well, I'm sure they talk about the cut of what they're going to get and try to convince everybody up front. But yeah. But soon after that pilot got cold feet anyway, and they had to find a new guy. So he didn't. Apparently, it wasn't enough. Otherwise, they would go with Goran's backup plan. They have him recorded saying, "You know what? I called the school and asked how much it cost to learn. It cost 15,000 euros. A nice title, if nothing else, to say I'm a pilot, for crying out loud."
This does show you just said before, are they nuts, stupid, or the most trusting men? I don't know. It sounds like they're pretty nuts, right? If he's like, I'll just become a helicopter pilot. How hard could it be? I mean, they don't actually do that. But like, he had the confidence to say, I will take some helicopter lessons and then I'm going to do it myself. I don't know. This seems a lot harder than that.
Right. But they found someone. Enter a young Richard Dreyfuss. I'm looking at his photo and man,
I guess he does. I don't know if I thought about that. I mean, blonde, glasses, beard, a very serious stare. Felt like a Swedish DJ or something to me. I could see it. This is like his artist photo.
That's funny. If Richard Dreyfuss was a young Swedish DJ.
If only. But this is, but
I think of that every day.
But Alexander, he's not your ordinary pilot. Speaking of the film world, Richard Dreyfuss, Alexander was the darling of the Swedish film world, known for his exceptional camera skills and daring maneuvers. So apparently he was the son of a wealthy entrepreneur, and he lived like in a nice house with his ex-wife and children. I'm assuming it was his ex-wife at that time and not just his wife, but lived in a nice house with his ex-wife and children. However, behind the facade, Alexander was crumbling, apparently. Debts were piling up. He had to take a second job. The long hours were crushing him. So the offer of $20,000 plus and the opportunity to do the most daring stunt of your life, hell yeah, he was in. So Goran did not need to take the class. He did not need to get his helicopter pilot's permit. Alexander was in. A young Richard Dreyfuss was in for the job.
I can't imagine him taking that class anyway. It's like, that guy seems like he's here just to rob a bank.
So as we said, the Swedish police were surveilling Goran, but there was aside from just waiting for the date, I guess there was a problem with their surveillance, which is that the man is a social butterfly, as we saw him described. There was a quote that he has 500 contacts in his phone. If he walks down the street, he stopped every 5 meters to talk. Wait, but to me, is 500 contacts in your phone a lot of contacts?
No.
Maybe 2009 it was. Maybe we actually in 2009 maybe we didn't have the space to include as many contacts. Wait, there was a limit. Actually, that felt like it was before 2009. But apparently 500 contacts in Sweden at that time was a lot. It was a social butterfly. Never met a stranger.
I know. I mean, I wonder how many contacts I have, but it's probably way more than that. I never delete a contact. This is so funny. I feel like I only talked to 5 people.
Yeah, they're all in there.
I'm not going to delete someone I worked with 20 years ago, my first job.
Never know.
I was whatever
you never
age.
know.
You're like, oh, I might need to hit that person up for no reason.
I feel like there was a time in my life where I would regularly go through my contacts. This is like 20 years ago, and would clean it out or something. And now, I mean, I guess you get like updates, like merge contacts. You have, the same person in your phone 5 times. Otherwise, it just is what it is. It just is what it is. Life's too short, baby.
I know. But then you have the fear of like accidentally pocket dialing someone you haven't talked to in 10 years.
Yes.
Which I've done.
Yeah. And I do enjoy a text from someone you've not texted with in 10 years and you receive it and they're in your phone and you're like, wow, that takes me back to another time.
It's like, whoa, I still have your number.
So when Goran gets out of prison, I hope he gets his phone back so he could, or maybe he's already out, I won't say. So he can immediately tap into his old friends. Hey guys, I'm out. Let's go get a beer.
Yeah, he has a beer with 500 friends.
Yeah, so he invites everyone. It's a big party. But we should point out, it wasn't like they had Goran mic'd up himself. It was just his phone. So they have no idea what he's talking about with all of his millions of friends. It's only on the phone they could hear what he's doing. But also, Goran also apparently switches phones, so the police can't find the new one. So again, Goran's always thinking about this. I'm assuming he offloads the contacts onto his computer, then re-uploads them onto the next phone. He's not losing those contacts if he's got a new phone. It's got to be some way to hold on to them.
Yeah, I think buying a burner phone is another funny, weird heist thing I've never had to do, and I can't imagine. It's like you go to T-Mobile, yeah, can I have this $5 phone for no reason?
Why are people buying those besides? I don't know, man. I don't understand the market.
I don't know. Another thing that fascinates me in the heist world.
Well, yeah, I'm assuming T-Mobile pretend there's a market for a certain reason, like, for people when you're traveling for a short period. But it's like, no, we just know this is for illegal activities. Let's just always track them.
I know. They probably just call it burner phone.
Yeah, buy your burner phone here. But the police thought about arresting Goran on conspiracy charges and holding him for a few days because this is September now and they know the heist is coming. But they knew the charges wouldn't stick. So instead, they're just waiting for him to act. They're waiting for him to do something, do anything. And then September 15th hits, and then the 16th and the 17th, and nada. They're still waiting. So they think maybe Goran got spooked. Maybe he knew some way. Perhaps he noticed he was being watched, and he called off the operation. So the Swedish police, they see this as a win, and they relax quite quickly, it feels like. But Goran, given his line of work, always acted like the police were on his tail. We said this before. He spoke in code language for a reason, and one was to throw them off by even just a few days. Now, after this break, it's finally heist day.
Stay tuned.
Welcome back to the clubhouse. Goran Boyevic's plot is working according to plan. With the recruiting and planning phase complete, it's time for the execution. Before that, we will say during break, our producer Carolyn had an interesting theory about the 500 contacts, saying it's not just that his phone had 500 people in it, it's that he literally spoke to 500 people every day on the phone constantly, talking to all these people, maybe also when walking around to the newspaper vendor and mail carrier, et cetera. But the idea is like social butterfly was always on the phone, always talking to someone, impossible to track. Interesting theory. Sure, I buy that. And that makes sense. Maybe in 2009, that's a bigger deal than just 500 people in your phone.
I'm sure some people received some calls from him. They're like, why is he calling me? I feel like he just called me to throw out the police.
This is Jesse. This is why you keep all those contacts in your phone. One day, you're going to throw the police off by calling everyone. Why is he calling his coworker from 20 years ago? He hasn't spoken to...
I don't know.
Him and Jeff have not spoken in years. What are they going to talk about? Okay. Hey, Jeff.
Hey, remember that time where we someone got mad and made a latte?
Oh, the latte. Code. The latte is code for helicopter. Yes,
exactly.
Clearly. But thank you, Carol. I like that theory.
Yeah. All right, so let's do it. September 23rd is the day. It is Heist Day. They set it up in the early morning hours of the 23rd. The crew splits up into 3 groups. Goran, the mastermind, and Charbel, the PE teacher, stay back to coordinate. Nemanja, our newsstand vendor providing the diversion, hides outside a police heliport. Like the rest of the crew, he's donned an all-black getup with a black balaclava. He also has a duffel bag with some props inside. He watches as a helicopter returns from its routine flight, sitting patiently as the cops exit the helicopter and head for their bunks a few hundred yards away. Go time. Nemanja runs as best as an out-of-shape man can run to the hangar. He removes the cheap plastic toolboxes fitted with red blinking LEDs and places them around the perimeter. He runs with immense effort to the hangar entrance and takes a hatchet to the locking mechanism. When the job's finished, he continues a few hundred yards up the road, removes his gloves and mask, he didn't have 2 masks on, he just had 1, don't worry, and lights them on fire.
I love that Goran thought this guy could do this. Like, he had the vision to go, I know who could take a hatchet to this and burn all, like, it's just, of all people, I mean, I know he had the affinity for American gangster films. So maybe that's enough. He's obsessed with it enough that we know he's going to be dedicated to getting it right. But what a role to play in the middle of this big heist.
That is funny. Like, oh, newsstand guy, I see that you love The Godfather. How do you feel about hatchets?
Swing this hatchet for me a couple of times. Pretty good.
Yeah, I don't understand how those things are related.
Amazing.
At the same time, the Spike guys, whose names were never revealed, walked the streets of Vasterburga, carrying tire-shredding spikes attached to the chains. Very inconspicuous, especially recovered from head to toe.
Yeah.
Local police did not think the same thing. They stopped them because they looked insane, carrying spikes and chains like a villain from a horror movie or something. The guys make up a story about planning revenge on a rival gang.
I love how that's their story. Like, we're just gang members.
I think that's a great...
It's like we're admitting we're doing a crime. This has nothing to do with the cash depot. We're just...
Yeah, exactly. Like, well, it's not as bad.
Kill some gang members.
We're just in the movie The Warriors. Like,
yeah.
Exactly. But they didn't have any evidence to hold them.
Besides the chains. Really, that wasn't enough.
They let him keep the chains. Like, all right. Well, good luck with your
We've dropped you off so far away from the rival gang. There's no way you'll achieve your goal anymore. Good luck to you. Yes.
Exactly. They drove him back to their car up the road, and then they phone in a report. Once the police leave, they return to their mission. They lay the spike chains across the road, leading up to the depot, securing them with padlocks. You can't unlock the spikes.
Yeah, and then around 4:30 a.m., so this is all very early in the morning, Alexander, the pilot, Richard Dreyfuss, and another man who we don't know the name of, sneak onto a private airfield. They easily slice through the fabric covering the hangar, and they're in. This is not, we should point out, this is not a foreign place to Alexander. He stores his own helicopter here. They're not using her today. They're here for a Bell 206 Jet Ranger. I love to pretend I know what this chopper looks like. Or
a Bell 206.
Oh, Bell 206, fancy.
I love that.
Top of the line. But apparently this chopper is known for maneuverability and are even used to train novice pilots. So perfect when you're a first-time heister, I guess. They push the helicopter out using the wheel platform it's resting on. But how do they actually get up in the air? Good question, Jesse. It has to have some security measures, right? Nope. Apparently, it's easier than hot wiring a car, which I guess it should be, right? There's less people who want to hot wire a helicopter than a car, so it should be easier, but also more expensive. So maybe not easy. Yeah. And then they lift off at about 4:45, and we do have a picture. I mean, I made the joke about not knowing what it looks like. Sure, looks like a helicopter.
It looks like a helicopter.
that's I've seen many a helicopter in my day, and that is one of them. That is one. Yeah.
Yep.
But they take a short flight, keeping low, using the city lights as their guide, and they land in a grassy field just north of Stockholm. And Safa, that's our Renoir stealing veteran thief, and Mikhail, the explosives expert, they emerge from the darkness carrying massive bags. Some of their goodies include a buzzsaw, a sledgehammer, an AK-47, and plenty of explosives. Again, this feels okay. We're in our Schwarzenegger movie moment. Yes, yeah. This is Commando. He's got his bags full and about to go to town. And also two ladders in the helicopter as well. We don't exactly know how they fit those in from the helicopter. Maybe they're those super folding ladders. Otherwise, I have no idea how they would have done it.
Just hanging out the window.
Yeah, otherwise they're just holding them outside. A big challenge for Alexander the pilot. Don't mess up the ladders. Don't swing too far to the left or right. We're going to drop them.
Yeah.
So the team of four lifts off and they head south to Vasterburga, again flying low. And it's on to phase 2 of the heist.
The actual heist, early in the morning. At 5:15 a.m., Alexander expertly lands on the roof of the G4S cash depot. Safa and Mikhail and the third man jump out of the helicopter, bags and tools in tow. All right, remember that 15-minute goal? Let's start our watches.
Now.
Do you think we're going to do this? I already didn't believe in them, so let's see how they do. They put their sledgehammers to use, attacking the glass pyramid. Really, really smooth. All right, first, we just bashed this glass.
If only there was a target. How about that glass pyramid right there? That's a good one. Let's go. I mean, they knew, of course. They knew.
Alexander lifts off, circling the area. as an act of intimidation to the incoming police.
So badass.
It's so badass, honestly.
A great role for a young Richard Dreyfuss, you know?
But breaking the glass is harder than I thought. I guess they didn't predict that a Cash Depot might use some heavy-duty reinforced glass. I'm like, yeah, we're going to have this ridiculous pyramid.
Easily breakable glass on our pyramid, yes.
A little bit. And the incessant banging gets the attention of the depot's overnight employees. One even joked that thieves were going to descend from the ceiling. After what was triple the time they thought it would take, the glass finally succumbed to the sledgehammer. They're not going to hit that
15 minutes. You called it, Jesse.
They're not. I think it's funny that they thought they were at all. The employees realized that they might actually be getting robbed and shut all counting machines off and secure any loose money into metal cages. Our guys retrieved the first ladder, chosen with the building's dimensions in mind. It fits perfectly from the roof to the 5th floor. When one of them lands on the 5th, the other two hand him the second ladder. It's actually a pretty good plan.
I guess. I mean, we have the picture of the building, so we know it's a little tricky to get from one floor to the other. It's just like, it's crazy that to your thing earlier about like, why not just go through the front door? It's like, oh, well, they have a glass pyramid on the roof. However, they have a glass pyramid with a roof that only goes to the 5th floor. Then they have to go to the 6th floor. You know, it's not easy peasy here.
No, I mean, but they did have the blueprints to know exactly what was going on.
I think they pull it off. We'll find out soon. So maybe that's not the place to critique. Anyway. So terrified employees, they called the police, who raced to the scene when suddenly, pop, their rims hit the road and they skid to a stop. So the spike traps were flawless. Jesse, if you were one of the spike guys, well done. Well done.
Well, thank you. Wouldn't it be so annoying if that was the same guys that pulled him over?
What?
It's like, what? We just
that would be good. Go. Again, movie casting. That is how the screenplay would work. And by the way,
yeah, that's what the spikes.
Jesse, I'm also remembering we never found out who the spike guys were. Right? We said we're not going to reveal their names. So Jesse, were you one of the spike guys? Where were you? Where were you in 2009? Have you been to Sweden? What a cover! I've never heard this story before, Todd. Sure, let's do it as an episode. What is this guy's name? I'm so lost on this because you were involved the whole time, Jesse.
No comment. I was a child in Sweden, evading the police.
I finally caught you. For the authorities.
Yeah.
It's going to help with the popularity of the podcast. One of the co-hosts got arrested for a heist. Whoa, we got to check that out.
Yeah.
Secret plan. So over the radio, the dispatcher then informs that a helicopter is circling overhead. And so they know they're dealing with professionals. The police actually stay put because of this. They establish command at a nearby gas station. And they use a live feed of the CCTV. They watch as Safa, Mikhail, and the third move through the building. So they're just lost. They can't get in, via car because of the spikes. And then we'll find out about helicopters soon.
They're just watching the TV.
Watching it happen.
Like, oh, this is crazy as they take for their coffee.
They do decide, okay, no worries. We'll just deploy police helicopters to get them to the scene and then rush from their bunks to the hangar. As we know, they were they were nearby because they had been informed that a heist might be taking place at a bank depot around this time, a little bit earlier they thought, but still, pilots are there. They stop at the site of the mysterious boxes, their red lights blinking ominously, and they call in the bomb squad and are at the mercy of their time. So right now, can't get there by car, can't get there by helicopter.
I really like that little plot point. the fake out is pretty funny to me.
Again, I'm impressed at the creativity, and it's a complicated plot, and they pulled it off, even with some amateurs involved, along the way. So then they notice that there are fire trucks not too far away, and they investigate. Apparently someone had called in a grass fire, and then firemen collect a not completely burnt mask and gloves from the scene. This is evidence that one of our cohorts has left and not completely destroyed.
It must have been a pretty big grass fire.
Maybe don't do it in the grass. Maybe they should have done it on cement or found somewhere else to do it.
And he just left it.
So this is Nemanja. This was our newspaper vendor. And I think neither of us are shocked that he didn't pull it off, perfectly, which might become a little bit of...
They're asking a lot of him.
He swung the hatchet. What else can he ask? Now he's supposed to burn everything completely so they don't get the evidence? Although maybe at the same time the fire is a distraction. I'm not saying the fire trucks were going to be involved here, but another distraction on a night of distractions. So Okay, we'll see. So the police actually called the Swedish military for help, but apparently they declined as they don't deal in civilian matters. Okay. What are they dealing with? I don't know, but not these civilian matters. So the police have no cars, no air support. And again, the police are just helplessly watching the heist live with popcorn in hand. But our next obstacle is an armored glass window. This is inside. And this is Mikhail's time to shine. He came prepared, of course. He places a wooden picture frame covered in ethylene glycol dinitrate.
Wow, you sound like you're an explosives guy.
My chemistry background in high school. And nitroglycerin putty on the window and triggers his electronic detonator. Again, I love that it's real.
So
this
cool.
is real. Not just in movies. But he really did.
Real.
And he watched it burn. No.
Fight Club is real.
The glass apparently shattered instantly. And now they have to stroll down the hallway to the door where the cash awaits. But wait, what is this? Oh no, they're faced with another massive door. This was not in the blueprints. No matter, actually, this is pretty easy though. No matter, they pried open with crowbars and the buzzsaw. And okay, now they could stroll down the hallway too. Oh, what the hell? Not again. Not again. Another heavily armored door stands in their way. But Mikhail stands up. He's got some leftover explosives for an occasion just like this, and just in case he wants to see the world burn, any of the above. So he rigs the door, and boom! But nothing, apparently. The door just stayed standing. But Mikhail, of course, being Mikhail, adds even more explosives, triggering an explosion so large the terrified employees inside thought it would take the whole building down. But hey, the door finally opens. Woo!
Meanwhile, the employees in the cash room argue with the police, who want them to stay put. But the employees aren't taking any chances. They know that the very room they're hiding in is the robber's destination. They break for it, and all 14 employees hide in an airlock meant for only 2 people. Yeah. 30 seconds after the last person squeezes into the tight space, the door bursts open. Safa leads the way. He stalks the room with his finger on the trigger of his AK-47, searching for stragglers. I'm looking at a pretty ominous photo of that moment.
Yeah, that's scary. Now. If I was one of those 14 employees, I would hide in the airlock if I saw this guy all clad in black and with that AK-47. I am not being in the same room as him.
Mikhail and the other man follow shortly after. Once they know the room is clear, they take the buzzsaw to the metal cages. I see a photo of the metal cages. They look like storage.
They really do. This does not look like a bank vault. It really looks just like piles of cash in like a cage. Yeah. Like a storage facility almost.
When the last cage gives way, they dump the saw without even bothering to shut it off. That's how horror movie scenes play out. It spins and whirs on the floor. The 3 sort through the cash bins, only taking high-value bills. Just take all the bills, man.
Well, no, they think about the weight. This is being loaded onto a helicopter, right? Ideally, you probably can't take all the bills. You want to take the high cash bills. So when you.
Well, why were they trying to take? Why were they robbing this place to begin with if they only had a very limited thing weight
I
of
brought
what they
this
could
up
take,
earlier in terms of like the choice of going with the helicopter. It does limit your weight. I mean, they're still going to end up with a pretty penny, just not all of it.
It's like, there's 150 million. We can take a little bit of it because
we can take
less
than 10%. Yeah,
exactly. Valid. Yeah. The strategy is short-lived as they grow more careless as time ticks on. They're definitely past the 15-minute mark.
Oh yeah.
And are almost certain the police have bypassed their diversions by now. Like the final seconds of a carnival game, they are in scramble mode.
Yeah.
Knocking over bins in a frenzy, leaving others untouched. They are in another room in 3.5 minutes. It's not a long time.
Grab that money. Anyway.
Mikhail and the third man climb the ladders down and then up again to the roof. They had to go down from the 6th to the 5th, back up to the roof. Crazy blueprints. Good thing they had the blueprints. Safa follows, but in his hurry, the ladder collapses from under him, slicing his hand open. So dramatic. Blood trickles down his arm onto the ladder. He quickly recovers and makes it onto the roof, where Alexander hovers just a few feet off the ground. Very dramatic. Blood is spurting. Choppers are chopping.
Ladders are laddering.
Ladders are laddering. So the men hoist themselves up, now with the added weight of 330 pounds of cash.
That's a lot of
cash.
It's
pushing it to the limit for sure. Yeah, imagine the groaning and creaking.
Yeah,
it's scary.
Good sound design. Imagining it, yes.
The police watch as they lift off at 5:45, 30 minutes after the touchdown.
That's not bad, right?
Not bad.
I mean, we thought 15 was never realistic anyway. So to do it in 30 feels pretty good. We have a helicopter involved and a ladder and 2 flights of stairs and breaking a glass window on the roof and then multiple doors to get through and cages to get through with the buzzsaw. I don't know. 30 minutes feels good. I'm impressed.
Think about how tired you would be after that. Oh, man.
Right. But the adrenaline, right? The adrenaline must be crazy just coursing through you, you know?
Yeah.
Now bleeding down the ladder, but the adrenaline is still coursing through your veins.
So why didn't the police shoot the helicopter and disable it? The police argued it was too far away to get a good shot, and they were worried that the robbers were still in the building and they would take hostages, which I guess is a good excuse, but they're really doing a whole lot of nothing. They're like, oh, let's stay away.
Yeah, this was not an active police situation. Again, as we said before, they're just sitting back and watching on CTV. They're really doing nothing. They're doing
right.
I mean, I guess the helicopter pilots tried to get to the helicopters, but that's it. That's the only action I've really heard of so far.
The crew flies off with $7 million, which is kind of pitiful because there was $150 million. It's like, why did you even wait for that special day if you only had a helicopter? They needed like 10 helicopters.
Well, next time. I do think it's funny. Like if we said they still, someone stole $7 million from a money depot, we'd be like, whoa, it's a lot of money. But when there's 150 million there, all of a sudden you're like, that's not a lot. That's all they got. That's like they barely hit it. I don't know. And from what we could tell, police wise, I think they did have more time. They, they rushed. They wanted to do it in 15. They did it in 30. Did not feel like they were being zeroed in on or anyone was getting through the distractions. So, but 20 people involved, you felt like Goran would have found someone to like listen to the police radio and note and monitor what they're doing or something.
One of his 500 contacts.
Yeah, exactly.
Would reach out, let him know what's going on.
His coworker Jeff from 20 years before. What was Jeff doing? Come on, Jeff. Listen to the police. Jeff.
I blame this all on
ruined
Jeff.
It, Jeff. Yeah. But again, I mean, with the helicopter, I think they were limited with how much they could take anyway, right? So maybe 7 was around their cap. I don't know. So they got $7 million. They're on the helicopter, and Alexander keeps with his low-flying strategy. With the police choppers grounded, they try to pursue the helicopter on the ground, but their cars just can't keep up. And Alexander lands in a field close to a band of connected waterways. And then Mikhail, Safa, and the third bail out with the money and ride away on speedboats, which feels very James Bond to me, very live and let die.
There's also speedboats? There's too many transportations.
There's no chase here. In the movie version, we're going to add that there was a chase. Right now, it feels like they're just on speedboats speeding away with no one chasing them. Because the Swedish police were they're just
so
watching.
Cinematic. I feel like, I guess it's a good idea, but it's also just so dramatic.
Yeah, I mean, it's fun. I mean, if you need boats, why not get speedboats? That's Goran's approach.
I know.
Why?
Where are the trains and the planes and the scooters? Yeah. Just so much going on.
Why climb the building or parachute in when you can helicopter in? I don't know. Actually, parachuting would be pretty cool too. I shouldn't take a stick at that. So they're on the speedboats getting away, and then Alexander takes the helicopter north just outside Stockholm, and he ditches the helicopter in the woods, and then he douses it with a small amount of gasoline and apparently makes a sad attempt to light it on fire. Now, Mikhail, if he had the chance to burn that thing, would have gone up in crazy flames, but this is not Alexander's skill set. He is not the fire starter. That is not Richard Dreyfuss. That is Drew Barrymore.
He should have taken a lesson from the explosives guy. That's funny that he didn't.
Hey, what
really,
do I do? Hey, Mikhail, before you leave, hold off, don't get in the boat. Or should have stayed with him, I guess. But at 7 a.m., after the sad attempt to light it on fire, Alexander walks into a McDonald's, a Swedish McDonald's, paying in cash. I don't think the money from the depot. It's unclear, but that'd be pretty funny.
He just has a duffel bag
well, that is also just throws it up right next to the cashier. And how much?
Yeah, is this enough?
$11.50. Do you accept $1,000 bill? I actually don't know what denominations kroner are in. But he finishes his meal in 10 minutes and he gets a cab. And then local news stations receive a report of a massive heist, which included the stolen helicopter. So the news finds out. One reporter remembered that his former producer, Alexander Eriksson, owned a helicopter and stored it just north of Stockholm. And he thought, what if Alexander's helicopter was stolen? The reporter called Alexander, who played dumb about the robbery, and he assured the reporter that his helicopter definitely wasn't the one that was stolen. Maybe you shouldn't say definitely. Shouldn't you actually be like, oh no, really? I didn't hear about that. I'll check in my helicopter. Thank you for letting me know. Versus like, no, it was not mine as not.
Yeah, he could have strung them along a little bit,
Yeah. Huh? Never heard of it. I was sleeping.
My wife is mad at me and I was sleeping in my helicopter, so I'm aware that it's not been stolen.
Yeah, I'm sleeping in the back. Exactly. Meanwhile, the bank employees are still in that tiny hideaway. 14 employees locked into this 2-person little bunker, if you would. They ignored the police's repeated attempts to coax them out of the hiding spot because they're still in fear that it's the robbers trying to trick them with their AK-47s. They just want to get us out here and shoot us, I guess.
Yeah.
Scary.
That would be really cruel.
Yeah, it's like, we got you out. Great. Now this. So the police finally enter the building and the investigation begins. And the plan seemingly went perfectly, or did it? The police begin their investigation, and we'll get into that after a short break. Welcome back, Heist Clubbers. The gang just executed a blockbuster-level heist with diversions, booby traps, and explosions galore. Now it's the investigators' turn to grace the silver screen. On to the chase. It's around 8:30 a.m., and a witness discovers the helicopter, probably a dog walker. You could hide a body on the moon, and it'll be discovered by a dog walker. But police smell gasoline and fear it is rigged to explode because of, the bomb motif with these guys. And the G4S cash depot immediately offers a reward of 7 million Swedish kroner, which is $1 million US. They assure the public that Stockholm's cash flow will not be affected. And we are quick to learn that although the crew may have been thorough with the plan and execution, they were reckless when it comes to leaving evidence behind. So we've been very impressed with the plan so far, the number of people involved, most of the execution, but now we will learn it was not as perfect as it seemed. When the helicopter is deemed safe, investigators swab for DNA evidence, and they find a GPS device with visible fingerprints that did not burn. And at the cash depot, investigators gather a treasure trove of evidence. They collect Safa's blood from the ladder and take the abandoned tools for DNA testing. I don't know why they left everything behind or left it in such good shape. And then Nemanya's burnt gloves are also taken in for testing. So just evidence galore. Seems like everyone left something behind.
Yeah.
Not that impressive. And then the investigators quickly zero in on Alexander. He's apparently the only licensed helicopter pilot in that region. And, I don't know where they found the other guy who said no earlier, but the only licensed helicopter pilot in that region. And investigators recognize him as one of Goran's many friends, one of the 500 contacts in his phone, if you would. So on September 28th, Alexander carries his bags to the check-in desk at the Stockholm airport. He's heading over to the Canary Islands for some R&R. Guess he's leaving his ex-wife and child behind. And as he checks in with the attendant, the Swedish police storm the building and bring him in for questioning.
But Alexander claims to have no memory of that morning because, you see, he suffered from a drug relapse and was all a haze. I love these very incriminating excuses. Yeah. It's like, oh, we were about to do a gang rivalry, and we were also...
We're going to kill some members of a rival gang. We're not doing anything conspicuous. No, I wasn't a part of that heist. I was part of a drug relapse. I was on
drugs. I mean, that's
so many
funny.
Drugs.
Yeah. Yeah. When they bring up his McDonald's run, he changes his story to match, but stick to the drugs. He's like, oh, I needed McDonald's because of all the drugs,
As one does.
Yeah. The police are at a standstill. Unlike America, the police cannot get a suspect to trade information for a lighter sentence. They have nothing to entice him to confess. Not even some McDonald's, not even some drugs. The collected blood matches with Safa. No surprise there. I feel like once he bled out, he would know that he was going to get arrested. I would have.
And clearly they left the ladders there, which I guess makes sense, right? Why bring them back on? It's more additional weight that they couldn't stand with the cash. But if you know there's blood on it, I don't know. I mean, I don't know what your alternate is.
If I were him, I would have just stayed there. Like, well, I'm screwed. I'll just wait for the authorities now.
If you have any ideas of what you would do with the ladder and the blood, please write in. Let us know what you would do.
Yeah, who knows? Take the ladder. It's got to fall on the floor, too. Anyway.
Take the ladder and run.
Exactly. Take the ladder and run. But unlike Alexander, he made it out of the country to the Dominican Republic. But that didn't save him for long. as he was quickly arrested and extradited to Sweden. But he goes in style for a speedy arrest. The government charters a private plane for his transport. That's cool.
Fancy.
Maybe that's
champagne.
why he did the heist, so he could ride.
Drinking some champagne.
Yeah.
doing some drugs on the plane.
Yeah, exactly.
You know? Yeah. Taking lots of selfies.
Yeah. He was promised a private plane ride.
I'm on a PJ, baby. Yeah.
Garan is next on the list. Still on the radar, police spot him with a brand new BMW. They follow him to his apartment where they find a bag of cash. Those two things together are not looking good, man.
He had the dream. He had a dream. I want to do one big score and then be free of this forever. And I know I'll buy a BMW the day after and I'll just leave the cash in the
At
house.
the apartment.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's promptly arrested. Big surprise there.
Yeah.
And then, man, I feel like I can see this montage now of everyone just meeting their demise. And then next on the montage, Charbel gets pulled over because the police suspect him, rightfully so. They did not buy the innocent gym teacher stick. They find 5 receipts for prepaid phones. That's 5 too many burner phones, dude.
When you have a burner phone, you did something naughty.
No one's buying those phones for any other reason than that.
Yeah.
Like, oh, I just like it when they're disposable. Yeah, no way.
Yeah, it's like, I miss disposable cameras, so I miss disposable phones.
I just love the idea of throwing my phone away.
Yeah. Well, was this in a movie? I can't remember where I saw this. It's when you have a disposable phone though, in a dramatic moment, you could always rip it in half or like break it. You know, it's like it's good for dramatic effect in a certain moment that's the one usage I can think of is dramatic effect.
Yeah, it's like it's very cathartic. It's like a rage room. It's like sometimes it's like tearing on my phone. Feels nice.
Yeah.
Yes. And then Nemanya's DNA matches on that burnt glove. Why didn't he burn the glove all the way? And he is arrested along with Mikael and the 2 Spike guys. Basically, most of the team messed up in one way or another, leaving a bunch of evidence, and in total, 10 men are charged. Safa immediately confesses to his role in the robbery, but doesn't give the others away. Hard to crack over there, I guess.
I'm trying to think about the police work here. I mean, like, they generally made it easy on them, right? They made it really easy on the police by doing so many things the wrong way. The police followed through. I guess they gathered the evidence the way they're supposed to. They tested it the way they're supposed to. They knew that these people, in some cases, were contacts of Goran's. So, okay. They, it just seems like it came together really quickly on the investigative side. Really, really quickly.
You think in the plan they would be like, hey. I just feel like everybody panicked. I don't know. Maybe that extra door threw them off, but they just like dropped all their stuff and left.
Well, they clearly were in a rush, right? I mean, well, okay. Here's my new theory. It's because they gave themselves 15 minutes, right?
Too much pressure,
right? That was never realistic,
right?
And if they were more realistic, they would have felt less rushed, and maybe they would not have left the buzzsaw buzzing. They would not have. Maybe they would have had time to clean up the blood from the ladder. And I mean, it went all the way around. Some of these people were not there on site, obviously, at the depot. But if they thought, okay, they only have 15 minutes and we're trying to get out quickly, everyone rushed everything. And that was a mistake.
I know. I mean, I get it. It's stressful as heck, you never know when the police are going to bust in. So I would probably also leave the buzzsaw running, but it just they probably should have had a plan for that,
Right. Yeah. Because again, in the end, the police were nowhere near close. They had it feels like they had a lot more time. The speedboats were speeding away and being followed by no one.
Yeah, they were just watching them. They could have taken a lot more time to clean up all the evidence.
Yeah.
I feel they probably would still got caught pretty quickly just based on how many people are involved and,
Yeah. Yeah, I agree. So the 10 are arrested, including all of our main characters. And the trial is actually held. I thought this was interesting. The trial was held in the police headquarters basement. And apparently this was done just for them, so there'd be no daring roof escapes. So a makeshift court, which feels not legal to me, but I don't know Sweden law. I can't.
Why is it so
to
secretly held in a basement? That's interesting.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of respect for these guys and their ability to weasel out of things, even though they left so much evidence and were easy marks, I guess, in the end. But miraculously, the Spike guys, names we don't know, and Nemanja are acquitted. And we know Nemanya's name because apparently he actually testified. But Nemanja won by claiming an ankle injury that would prevent him from running.
Okay. Wow.
I mean, he wasn't a fast-moving guy anyway, it seems.
He's like, look at me. I couldn't have done it. Yeah.
How can I possibly? But they had his evidence. They had his DNA, right? So, and then the Spike guys, like I said, managed to maintain anonymity because they were acquitted. So the name was never public, and they didn't testify at all. So good for them, wherever they are in the world. I don't know if they got a piece of the prize and still have it or what. But
good for you,
everyone
Spike.
else.
I think one of those name was Spike.
Spike 1, Spike 2. Good for you, Jesse.
Okay, it was
Spike
me
guy
and Spike,
number 2.
and we got away with it. We got away with most of the money.
That's a fancy microphone you're using.
Yeah.
You must be using that Bank Depot money.
Yeah, this this might cost $5 million.
What's in the closet behind you, Jesse?
Nothing.
So everyone else is not so lucky compared to Nemanja and the Spike guys. Safa and Alexander both receive a 7-year sentence. Mikhail and Charbel gets 5 years. They both get 5 years, sorry. Mikhail and Charbel get 5 years. And Goran gets 8 years. Even the false alibi providers we mentioned a long time ago, Tomas and Marcus, they get 1 and 2 years in these minimal roles they played. And then a year later, Safa and Alexander failed their appeals, and that earned them an extra year. So they end up with 8 years, just as long as Goran.
Does that sound like a long time to you? I can't tell. At first, I was like, that doesn't sound very long, but I guess it is. I guess it's a pretty...
I know, I agree with you. It's like they stole a lot of money, and they were fully armed, and it feels like, I don't know, they did so many things over the course of the heist in terms of the explosions here, and then faking the bomb threat with the helicopters and setting the spikes. It feels like there should be the list of charges. You feel like would be long, would add to a lot more time. But we also don't know. We don't know Swedish law. American jails love to throw people in there for a long time when sometimes the crimes aren't even that serious.
Exactly. Yeah, I'm sure maybe they just thought it was a lot of damage being done, and that was, that justified the 7-year sentence.
Yeah, but I don't completely disagree. So this seems to have wrapped up nicely, I guess. The team gets put behind bars for the most part, and all the money is recovered. Right. Well, actually, around $5 million remains at large, as I think we've seen this with other cases, and along with the other possible 10 accomplices. So I don't know. The police got maybe the core people, or we think of the core people. Well, actually, they did it, right? There's the third guy who entered the depot, whose name we don't know. He got away with it.
Yeah.
Maybe the police got enough. They got enough people.
How much
right?
was that McDonald's order? Yeah. How do they do this? Figure out how to spend? I think that's what happens. They spend it so quickly on all these crazy things, and then the police don't know exactly how to get it all back. That's my guess.
Yeah. Everyone's out now, I guess, right? This was 2009, and this is many years later. So they're all out. I can't say I know what they're up to, but, we've made a lot of cinematic references during this recording, and that was, I think, just our own intuition and just the natural story that's being told. But they're actually all out in time to see their story hit the big screen. In 2024, Netflix produced a miniseries called The Helicopter Heist, based on Goran and the gang's antics. I say silver's the big screen, but that's not what Netflix does. It's the small screen. They do not, unless it's a Greta Gerwig movie coming out in 2026, they do not in general want to release their films into theaters. But they get to see their story made as a scripted feature, and I got to watch that. I haven't seen it. Well, that is The Helicopter Heist. It is unbelievable. I think just visually unbelievable. We will definitely put some of those images up on our social media accounts so you can see what's going on there. And this is the time of the show. Cue our diamond music where we rate the heist. I don't know. Jesse, you want to go first on this one? What would you rate this one?
What would our diamond music be? I'm just imagining like kind of game show music.
Or it's the Uncut Gems soundtrack.
Ooh, which I do love.
I do like too. I don't know if we can clear that.
No.
And I'm not sure totally it's perfect.
I'll make some ominous synths.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe it should be more game showy, right?
Yeah.
This is when we rate it. So give us some.
I don't know what I'm saving my 5th diamond for, but I'm gonna give it 4 diamonds.
I'm going 4 diamonds as well. I hope we're not doing 4 diamonds too often.
Well,
I'm giving 4 diamonds because it is quite the plot. So many people involved, visually amazing. I mean, there's so much creativity here. They bring in all sorts of folks from all different walks of life with different expertises. So that's big time. But then it's obviously it can't be 5 stars because they left so much evidence behind.
Yeah, it was
that even might demote it to a 3.5 diamonds.
Yeah, it was quickly all right, everybody in the van, you guys are dumb. Like it was like, well, you guys tried. That was crazy. Good A for effort, I guess.
Yeah, but no, it's still 4 diamonds to me because this is a good one to tell friends at parties or at the water cooler, wherever you tell people about amazing.
Yeah, no, I'm waiting for the mind-blowing genius mastermind one.
That's right. And listeners, what would you give it? How many diamonds is this in your perspective? I think we have other questions too, like creative places to hide $5 million.
One's apartment.
Not in a bag at your apartment. That's for sure.
But it was in the closet. No, I
didn't know it was there. That is not a creative place. We've seen much more creative places.
Yeah.
Also, are you amazed that no one spilled to the cops? I mean, that is pretty impressive that none of it spilled. I guess we've heard about oaths between thieves before.
Yeah.
That has completely fallen apart when they were arrested. But these Swedes, they stuck to it. And then, this question, I don't know. I want to know thoughts on the Swedish police. Do you think they're inept? Do you think they actually did a good job in the end? What is your evaluation there? And does this meet your vision of the Swedish police in general? Not the Swedish military. That's different because they would not get involved. So, Heist Club members, thank you for listening. Please get in touch with us. Tell us about your diamonds. Tell us what you do with $5 million, and tell us what you think. You could follow us and become a full-fledged Heist Club member on Instagram and TikTok. We are at Heist Club Pod. That's at Heist Club POD.
And tune in next week for a bank robbery for love.
Heist Club is a production of School of Humans, hosted by me, Todd Weiser.
And me, Jesse Neiswanger. I do all the fancy audio and music editing too.
This episode was researched and produced by Carolyn Talmadge. Our senior producer is Amelia Brock.
Our production manager is Daisy Church. Our executive producers are Virginia Prescott, Brandon Barr, and Elsie Crowley.
Join us again next week for Heist Club, and don't forget to rate and review. Thanks.